Hello students, I'm Himani Sharma, your educator. I warmly welcome you all to yet another video on the YouTube platform where we in today's video are going to solve June 2023 Reading Comprehension passage. Now if you guys would have gone through the previous video, there I have provided you with the list of important tips, tricks and strategies which are required for a person who is appearing for the UGC NET examination for the most neglected unit, which is known as reading comprehension. Now, you guys know that from this unit, each and every time 5 questions generally are asked, and these 5 questions hold 10 marks of yours. So, you know that how much importance even 2 marks hold for your JRF or your net preparation. And you know that JRF hold करने के लिए paper 1 plays a very significant role in the entire process. That has also been talked by me in some other video. But here what is the focus majorly? Just like the previous videos that we have covered and we have tried to talk about, जहाँ पे हमने PYQs discuss करे हैं related to higher education, related to ICT, related to research aptitude. Here today we are going to discuss the PYQs of June 2023 in this video, right? So I'll be the approach that you guys should be following. यहाँ पे दो तरीके से you need to solve the comprehension and find a way out which suits you the most. What I used to do was, I told you in the previous video that we have two types of approach in reading comprehension. One is PQ approach, which talks about, first of all, skimming through the passage and then you will be moving forward with the questions. The second approach that we have is known as QP, where what are we going to see? We see that first of all, you are going to go through the questions and then you will you will move back to the passage to see the answer of the question that you have just read. So here, one thing is important. You will have to figure out your way of solving the comprehension, because this figuring out would later help you in your examination. Now, we have the passage that I have brought here is in 2 chunks, is in 2 paragraphs, I would rather say. तो आपको क्या करना है? You can pause your screens, you can read the passage, right? Or if you want to do the question passage approach, what you can do is you can move the video thoda sa aage from where the questions are starting, then come back again, then move again with the question, then come back again, then so on and so forth. But for my time, what am I going to use? What am I going to give you is, first of all, the 2 paragraphs which are related to June 2023. The thing that happened there, the question paper, and then I have 5 questions for you all. Correct? So you guys can pause your screen however you want the video, however you want to view with your approach in hand. So, देखते हैं which is the first question to be done. The first question for today from June 2023 batch of reading comprehension here is, the Natya Shastra tradition refers to what? So you can pause your screens even when answering the question, because you'll have to refer back again to the passage. Correct? You can even slow down the video however you want it to be. That's your call, however you want to go about with doing the questions. So the answer to this question is option D. What is option D? The Natya Shastra tradition refers to the Indian theatrical tradition. Just giving you a brief idea here, Natya Shastra itself is a word which tries to talk about Shastra, Kala related to Natya, that is Natak, that is theatre. Correct? So here, if we try to refer back to the passage here, the lines, with their works, have reversed the colonial course of contemporary theatre and put it back on the track of great Natya Shastra tradition. Back on the track of great Natya Shastra tradition, which has been there in the ancient times, where Bharat Muni has tried to talk about अपनी book Natya Shastra में. So यहाँ पे ना Why am I emphasizing that you should be reading editorials, you should be solving the previous year question papers? Because of the fact that you need to have some common sense of some common topics as well. Now, Natya Shastra itself is a word which is telling you that it's Shastra about the Natya. And Natya Shastra was a book written in the previous ancient times by Bharat Muni, where he tries to talk about the 8 rasas, the 8 expressions of Hasya, Rodra and all. Correct? So these are certain commonsensical things as well, which you should be first of all aware about, even if you have not practiced your PYQs and all. So thoda thoda kahin se pada hua bhi important hai to gain the knowledge in its entirety. Moving forward, I hope you got the answer. It is here in this second paragraph, I think. Directors like B.V. Karanth, K.N. Panikkar and Ratan Tayyam have heard the meaningful encounter with tradition. With their work have reversed the colonial course of contemporary theatre and put it back to the track of the great Natya Shastra tradition. तो colonial work से move करके हम लोग वापस से अपनी ancient Indian नाट्य शास्त्र की tradition पे भी are moving back to. Correct? Hence the question is associated with the lines, these ones. The second question that I have for you is, the most significant contribution of directors like B.V. Karanth, K.N. Panikkar and Ratan Tayyam was. The answer to this question is option D. Option D says that bringing about an amalgamation of the Indian theatrical tradition with the Western realistic theatre. Why have I told you in the previous reading comprehension tips and tricks video that we need to be really very aware of reading the editorials because they enhance our vocabulary. Now, in the normal sense, a word that is, somewhere or the other related to amalgamation or synonymous with amalgamation is a mix of. Amalgamation stands for mixing. ठीक है? तो अगर आपकी vocabulary अच्छी हो जाएगी reading the editorials, doing or practicing the previous year question papers, you guys would be comprehending the passage nicely. Second approach that I tried to tips tricks में जो दिया था आपको, that you should be referring to the keywords in the question. So what are the keywords? And I also tried to tell you in the very first trick that keywords identify करने के लिए passage में देख सकते हो. Passage में we have the names of the directors like B.V. Karanth, K.N. Panikkar and Ratan Tayyam. ठीक है, passage में आते हैं, दिखाते हैं आपको. यहाँ पे there we have the names of the directors. So we know कि इसके आसपास ही answers कहीं पे होगा, right? Referring back again to the question, it says that it is trying to bring an amalgamation of the Indian theatrical tradition with the Western realistic theatre. How and where are we going to find the answer of the same is near the names, because they are serving as specific keywords में specific information होती है, right? Their theatre is both avant-garde. Avant-garde is something which is strange, correct? Which is non-conventional or unconventional. So their theatre is avant-garde in the context of conventional realistic theatre, correct? And belongs to the Natya Shastra, theatrical tradition as well. So it's a mix of Natya Shastra as well as the realistic elements. Both यहाँ पे हो गया, both means mix or both means amalgamation. From here, we also understand one thing, that we need to be able to comprehend the antonyms or synonyms which are being used in the questions. Because this is their trick. Question में वो लोग आपको synonymous word दे देते हैं. Correct? So you need to be an antonymous भी देते हैं so that you choose the wrong answer. So you need to be very well aware of the synonyms or the antonyms which you can make sense if you have enough practice, ताकि आप उसको sentence के context में अरेंज करके डाल सकते, राइट? सो लाइंस यहाँ पे देयर थिएटर इज बोथ avant-garde इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ कन्वेंशनल रियलिस्टिक थिएटर. तो यहाँ पे यही बोला था, मिक्स ऑफ वेस्टर्न रियलिस्टिक थिएटर एंड इंडियन थिएट्रिकल ट्रेडिशन, दैट इज नाट्य शास्त्र. करेक्ट? नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन वी हैव इज पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस कल्चरल रेनेसां इन द इंडियन थिएटर फोकस्ड ऑन व्हाट? The answer to this question is option C. That is search for traditional Indian theatre. Now, यहाँ पे question में what are the keywords here? Identify. The keywords here are post-independence and Renaissance. And where can we read and find these keywords? In the very first paragraph that I made you guys aware about. The modern Indian theatre, product of a colonial theatrical culture, felt the need to search for roots most intensely to match its violent dislocation from the traditional course. So, जहां से वो dislocate हो गया था, वहीं पे it wanted to come back again. From where it was dislocated? It was dislocated from the Indian Natya Shastra theatrical, that was there. But now it wants to come back again to Natya Shastra tradition only. So it starts from the very first passage if you read it, but if you read the entire paragraph, because in the very first second line and the last second line, wahan pe aapko you will get an idea that what the passage is all about. So if we come back to the passage again here, we will find the answer in the second passage though, but we get cultural renaissance and post-independence period here only, but the answer here that we get is here, correct? It's violent dislocation from the traditional course. Because first line say now it is getting descriptive in its nature. So we are getting a hold of the ancient theatrical, Indian theatrical tradition which was known as Natya Shastra. That is why, knowing about the keywords is really important. Then we have the next question. Decolonizing or decolonization is the process of what? Here you will need your common sense to be there. Here you will need your comprehending abilities, because this is really such a simple word, but you need to understand the meaning of. 2 marks simply आपको मिल सकते हैं अगर आपको पता हो what is the meaning of decolonization. The answer to this question is A. Decolonization means being or becoming independent from. You are decolonizing. You are moving away from something जिसके ऊपर आपने colonial. We call that the British were having colonial powers because they established their colonies here in India. But now, after they have left, we need to decolonize our minds, our ways of living. We wear shirts, pants, etc. That is a colonial way and a colonial approach of lifestyle. But we need to be decolonizing the same thing, decolonizing the same aspect. So, decolonization here stands for that you are being independent from the rule, etc. that was there from the Britishers, the lifestyle, the thoughts, the ideas, the processes that they have provided us with. So, इसका आंसर आपको वर्ड ही यूज हुआ है पैसेज में. We will try to see here. होल प्रोसेस ऑफ डीकोलोनाइजेशन ऑफ आर लाइफस्टाइल. हमें वो कोलोनाइजेशन के साथ जो भी चीजें छोड़ के गए हैं, वी नीड टू मूव अवे फ्रॉम दैट. वी नीड टू मूव अवे फ्रॉम द लाइफस्टाइल दे हैव परपेचुअली स्प्रेड इन इंडिया, द वैल्यूज, द सोशल इंस्टीट्यूशंस, क्रिएटिव फॉर्म्स एंड कल्चरल मोड्स, बट वी नीड टू गो बैक अगेन टू आर Indian classical tradition of Natya Shastra, that is for the theatre and performing Natya. ठीक है? Then we have the last question for today. The return to and the discovery of tradition in post-independence era was inspired by what? This is again a very simple question. So passage में से 2-3 questions so they will give you which are really simple in their nature. 2 questions would be a bit difficult, correct? Bit confusing as well. So here this is the very straightforward answer if you would have read the passage correctly. Now let's just see what is the answer to this question. The answer to this question is option D. That is search for roots and search for identity. If you look at the lines here, the return to and discovery of tradition, the return to and discovery of tradition in post-independence era was inspired by a search for roots and a quest for identity. Quest also means now quest is synonymous with a search only. ठीक है? Quest मतलब ढूंढना. So let's just come back to the passage to see. यहाँ पे the return to and discovery of tradition was inspired by a search of roots and a quest for identity. Here you got your answer straight away, which was related to the last question of reading comprehension. So I hope that you guys keep on practicing each and every day at least one comprehension a day from the previous year question papers that have been uploaded, that are there already available on the NDA website. I will see you guys again with some other video. Till then, you guys keep on studying. Have a good day. Bye-bye.